Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation, Law Firm Marketing Strategy, Top Trends and Tips for Success. So let's take a look at the structure of our webinar today. We're going to be looking at trends in the current marketing landscape for law firms and covering some actionable tips that you can use to upgrade your online marketing strategy for success going forward. We'll have a little introduction, then we'll talk about why marketing matters for law firms, why your strategy needs to evolve. Then we'll go through our trends and tips for success. And then finally, we'll cover where you can start with improving your strategy. So before we get started, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Beth Bradley. I'm the content marketing lead here at Action Step. I joined the team in September 2021, and I've been working in content creation and marketing for over a decade. My specialties are in SEO and copywriting, campaign management, and social media strategy. And I really believe that effective marketing is both an art and a science, so I like to take an approach that is equally weighted in data and in great storytelling. And a quick note about Action Step in case you haven't heard of us. We are 100% cloud-based legal practice management software. We're known for customization and automation. We were founded in 2004 and have always been 100% cloud-based. We're used by about 2,500 law firms worldwide. So at Action Step, we create practice management software that helps law firms run their practice their way. So today's presentation is the first in a new series of webinars and other content from Action Step that's aimed at helping you make the most of your law firm's marketing efforts this year. So in today's session, we're going to be focusing on overall tips and trends that are relevant right now for the legal sector. And then in future sessions, we'll be diving deeper into specific tactics. So that includes how to make a marketing plan, SEO and content marketing, digital marketing, and more. So let's start by setting the stage for why marketing is important for law firms. So every business, including law firms, needs to consider growth as part of its overarching strategy. So establishing a place in the market for your firm is vital for that growth. But as we know, the marketplace is competitive and it can be hard to stand out and differentiate your firm. And it can be hard to get your message across to the right people. So, marketing helps you tell your firm's story the way that you want to prospective clients and establish you as credible, trustworthy, and reliable. So, next, let's talk about why it's important to adjust your marketing strategy on a regular basis. Marketing is constantly affected by technology, and it's also affected by overall cultural trends. So, for example, new social media platforms come in and out of style, and new technology changes the ways and the places that you can get your message across to prospective clients. So, to be effective, it's important to be visible in the places that your ideal clients are spending their time. And we all know that those places change and shift over time. So, for those reasons, it's important to evaluate your marketing strategy periodically to make sure that you're actually getting a good return on your marketing investment. So, the same things that might have worked last year might not translate to this year. So, for example, maybe you've been investing in paid search marketing, but you could be getting a higher return by investing in your own social media content or by developing an e newsletter. So, next, let's get a sense of the trends and tips that we're seeing as highly relevant to law firms right now. And then we'll dive into a range of the ways that you can take advantage of them in your own marketing mix. And the good news here is that you don't need to have an enormous marketing budget and you don't need to pull off any crazy stunts to get some attention. You can have a simple, carefully considered, and appropriately scaled strategy that gets you more leads and better leads. So here's number one, make the most of your website. The first question to ask when you're developing your marketing strategy is if your own website is actually working for or against you as a marketing channel. We start here because your own website is still the only marketing channel where you have complete control. So it should be one of the first places that you invest your time. The stakes of having an effective website are also very high. So if a prospective client comes to your site and they have a confusing or frustrating experience, they might get immediately turned off and they'll assume that they might have a confusing or frustrating experience working with you. So here at minimum, your site should have a modern, up-to-date look in terms of its design. It should load quickly and easily, and it should work just as well on mobile phones as on desktop. It should also be very easy for prospects to find what they're looking for on your site. And if you're wondering how to test this, you can try asking someone outside of your firm to come to your site and see if they can find something simple that a prospect would be looking for. And if they can't, it might be time to invest in enhancing or redesigning your site to ensure that it's operating as an actual effective storefront for your business. One thing to note is that there are plenty of companies, webinars, other resources online out there that discuss how to effectively update law firm websites and what good website design looks like for law firms. You could also consider working with a developer or a marketing agency, and through them, you can invest in a user experience audit, and that will help you get that valuable information about how users are actually interacting with your site and the things that you can change or update to improve conversions from visitors to leads. The best websites for law firms immediately show who you are as a firm and include intuitive navigation. So, we're going to take a look at a couple well designed law firm websites next. So, here is Ignition Law's website. You'll notice that they have this very eye catching modern look that appeals to their target clients. So, that would be startups and entrepreneurs. Their navigation is very simple, it's intuitive, and it clearly states who Ignition Law is as a firm. Here's a different approach. This is Armstrong Teasdale. Again, you'll see they have a very clear and simple navigation on the left-hand side. And then what we really like is this "What can we do for you" search bar that's front and center on the homepage here. It's making it very easy for clients to find what they need. Here's our second tip, which is to invest in SEO. So once you've made sure that your website is updated, mobile friendly, and easy to use, the next question is whether anyone's actually finding it when they're searching online. So that next part of that equation is SEO, and that stands for search engine optimization. So at its most basic, SEO is the practice of improving your website to help improve its visibility and effectiveness in online search. So just to illustrate the importance of SEO, research indicates that 93% of all online experiences currently start with a search engine, and that 75% of internet users never venture past the first page of Google or other search engines like Bing. So most law firms do have a website to market their services, but ensuring new clients find your website requires effort toward SEO. So simply put, if no one can find your website when they're searching relevant terms online, you're probably losing potential business to competitors who do appear at the top of Google search listings. So here's a way to think about it. There's common search terms that legal consumers type into Google and other search engines, often including their own specific location. So an example of that would be Philadelphia law firms. They often also include specific legal practice areas or services they're interested in. So an example of that would be divorce lawyers in Philadelphia. So to point search engines in the right direction and improve your visibility to those clients, you need to make sure that these terms are appearing on your website, and that's where SEO comes in. So just a little caveat here, SEO is actually an entire marketing discipline of its own, and it can quickly become a bit overwhelming. But a good place to start is just evaluating the descriptions on your website for the services that your firm offers. So make sure these descriptions are clear, that they're well written, that they include basic information such as your location, your practice area or areas, and then any other answers to relevant questions about your practice that a potential client might be wondering about when they're initially searching for representation. So, if a member of your team has some time and some bandwidth, there's a lot of free resources and tools online that you can learn basic SEO principles. Or if you happen to have room in your budget this year, you could consider hiring an SEO agency. They can evaluate your website and then make some improvements. Even small tweaks to the copy on your website can make a big difference in your ability to appear on Google over time and then in turn effectively grow your leads. Number 3, claim, build, and monitor your Google My Business profile. So another way that your law firm can show up in web searches is through Google's local business profile listings, like the ones featured here on the right. These local profiles are especially important for law firms because, as we just mentioned, prospective clients are typically looking for a firm in their own region. So again, here we have Divorce Attorney Denver. These listings are also important as a marketing tool because they might be the first impression that someone gets of your firm if they're searching online. So luckily, though, you do have some control over how these listings appear, and that's because Google offers a free platform that's called Google My Business. And that's where you can submit information to improve the effectiveness of that profile. So, if you haven't done so already, you can get started building out your firm's profile at google.com/business. Through that portal, you can update your firm's profile with essential information that includes your business address, your phone number, hours of operation, your website, URL, images, and anything else. Your Google My Business profile is also the place where you can monitor and respond to customer questions and reviews, which also factor in greatly when people are researching and comparing law firms. Google My Business is free and it's easy to use, and the platform is also constantly adding new features, so we highly recommend taking advantage of this tool to help manage your online presence. So, another way that you can improve your online presence is through creating your own content. We know that most lawyers are also good writers, so you can put those skills to use to market your law firm through high quality website content. That could include blog posts, guides, articles, or case studies that feature past clients. Content marketing is also very closely tied to SEO because search engines tend to reward good, helpful content with higher ranking and better visibility. Content's also an excellent way to build your brand and showcase your particular expertise in your legal area. When you're providing interesting and helpful answers to potential clients through your own unique content, you can become a topical authority in your practice area, which in turn helps increase potential clients' confidence and trust in you and increases the chances that they will decide to retain you for your services. So there's a number of different ways that you can approach content creation. One strategy might be to take an educational approach where you're providing helpful information about general practice area related topics that don't directly offer legal advice. You could also focus on client case studies to share great results from recent cases. Or another option could be to focus on providing commentary or occasional updates that demonstrate your interest in what's happening with the legal industry. Or you could create articles that focus on legislation updates. And also, you could do a mix of all of these types of content. The key is really to create content that feels the most natural to you and also that you enjoy making, because that enthusiasm will absolutely come through to your audience. Another thing to note about content marketing is that you're not limited to just written content. So you could also consider creating video or audio content that takes a similar educational or topical approach. Just as an example, you could create short videos that answer frequently asked questions, or you could do a series of webinars that dive more deeply into relevant topics. So here's an example of Mink Law, who is doing a great job with content creation. They have a blog on their website that they call their Legal Resource Center. It's got a wealth of useful educational content for prospective clients, and you'll see that they're taking kind of a how-to approach. So they have how-to articles that are directly addressing questions that they know that their prospects are searching for. So this is not only establishing their expertise on these topics, but it's also building great SEO visibility for them and their website. So number 5, get more eyes on your content with digital advertising. So even if your firm is making headway with SEO and content marketing, getting noticed on the internet is not easy. Alongside an effective website and strong content strategy, paid digital advertising uses targeting to put your message in front of the people whose online behavior is indicating that they want to find you. So that's rather than people who aren't necessarily in the market for legal counsel. So while SEO and content marketing are long-term tactics that take longer to produce results, digital advertising allows you to pay for that exposure so you can get more immediate attention. So there are a wide range of digital advertising options, and each option has different benefits, risks, and drawbacks. So here are just a few of the common solutions. Paid search advertising, this is what you're seeing in the example here on the right. So in paid search, your law firm is paying for your listing to appear at the top of paid search results for relevant terms on Google or Bing. So in this case, the search was again for Denver divorce lawyers. And usually you're paying a set amount each time a visitor clicks on your ad, so that's why it's known as pay-per-click. There's also social media advertising. So this is where your law firm is paying to promote your content on a social platform such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or the newest platform that you may have heard of on the scene, TikTok. And then finally, you could consider video advertising. So this is where your firm is paying for your videos to appear at the beginning or middle of video content that would be streaming on platforms like YouTube. So for each of these options, it's important to think about where your prospective clients are likely to be spending most of their time online. So for example, do you think that your clients are more likely to be on LinkedIn or on Facebook? The answer to this question depends on your demographics as well as the type of services that you're offering, among a lot of other factors. But with careful research and implementation, digital advertising allows you to target and connect with prospective clients who are very ready to act. So number 6, use email marketing strategically. So with all these new tools and technology that we have at our disposal for marketing, it can be easy to forget about email, but it's a very tried and true channel to connect with your audience. And actually, email marketing has one of the highest ROIs of any digital marketing channel. So it continues to be a great option for keeping your law firm and your services top of mind for both potential and existing clients. It's also a very effective way to distribute any of that valuable content that you're creating, along with critical updates about your law firm. So really the best way to approach email marketing is to set out with a clear strategy rather than just sending out general updates to every single contact on your list. So while client email newsletters are still an effective way to market your law firm, there's other email options and campaign types that can help you connect with leads in a much more targeted way. So here are just a few ideas of email marketing campaigns that you could initiate that take that more focused approach. So the first one is a drip campaign. So a drip campaign is a limited series of emails that you're sending to specific audience, and that's giving them valuable information and resources that are concerning their specific needs. Then second, there's re-engagement campaigns. So these are messages that are directed to former clients who may be requiring additional services. And then finally, email blast. This is a one-time email that's notifying the readers on your list of an important event. So that could be a change in the law or a significant court award or settlement. No matter what type of campaigns you're deciding to initiate, automation is an enormous help in managing that process. So whether you're thinking about sending out a monthly e-newsletter or maybe a holiday wish to past and current clients, a software platform can make staying in touch via email much simpler. And for example, legal practice management software in particular has client management features that can help you proactively anticipate clients' major life events that are based on maybe their age, their status, or other activity that could be relevant to your practice area. So your law firm can automate the process of sending these email client communications, both individually and through group engagements. And you can also segment your list into groups so that you're sending each group the content that's actually most relevant to them. So finally, number 7, carefully consider social media platforms. So your social media accounts are also giving you additional channels to share and distribute any content that you've developed for your website. And there are a lot of different networks to choose from. So it's important to determine which channels are the best fit for your firm and your practice areas. And it's also important to think about how you don't have to use every single one of them. So using 1 or 2 social media platforms mindfully and effectively, that is much more valuable than spreading yourself thin across all of them. Just to do a quick overview of some of your social media options and what they're best for. So Twitter, we find this to be most useful for timely updates and also for following and engaging with thought leaders and meaningful conversations about the legal industry. LinkedIn, so this is a professional network, obviously, and actually the ABA has found it to be the most popular platform for lawyers. And that makes a lot of sense because it's a great option for building your professional connections in the legal industry and also for showcasing relevant highlights about you and your law firm. Facebook is still the most popular social media platform when it comes to the number of users. However, it doesn't tend to be a place that users come first to make professional connections or to do professional research. Facebook's feed tends to lean a little bit more toward personal or recreational connections, so it might make sense to focus your marketing efforts on other platforms just depending on your practice area. And then finally, YouTube. You might think of YouTube as a place to just watch silly videos, but people are actually using it more and more for doing other types of research. So one of the most popular types of content on YouTube is how-to content that answers questions. So if you think about it, potential clients always have questions that legal professionals can answer, sometimes even before asking. So short, shareable videos can answer common questions quickly and effectively, and they provide value without having a hard sales pitch. And then the last one we're going to talk about, TikTok. So this is an up-and-coming platform focused on short video content you might have seen. Currently, the users of TikTok skew much younger, but the platform is growing astronomically with more and more millennials and Gen Xers that are hopping on. So because of this, you'll also see that more and more professionals have begun making TikTok content, including doctors and lawyers. And some lawyers are now making very creative and effective use of TikTok, and that's by providing quick answers to general questions. It's still a very new option, and it's definitely not for every lawyer, but it's worth taking a look at if it interests you. So to help manage your social content so that you're not logging into multiple social media platforms numerous times each day, you could consider a tool like Hootsuite that will help you schedule posts, check replies, and monitor topics to see what your potential clients are interested in. And of course, when marketing on social media, always ensure that you're following the ethics and marketing rules within your jurisdiction so that you're avoiding creating inappropriate attorney-client relationships online. So here is just an example of Elder Law of Tennessee and how well they're using their social channels to get their message across. This is their Facebook page. They've got very up-to-date information here. They're staying engaged with their community. Here they've shared a very compelling customer testimonial. They've also got these short, very helpful video content pieces that answer relevant questions to their particular clients. So for example, this is a video answering the question if you're eligible for Medicare in Tennessee. So finally, let's just summarize what we've talked about here. So we have our first point, which is making the most of your website. Secondly, investing in SEO. Third is how important it is to claim, build, and monitor your Google My Business profile. Fourth is creating content that builds your brand. Fifth is getting more eyes on that content with digital advertising. Sixth is using email marketing strategically. And then finally, carefully considering the social media platforms that you invest time in. So now that we've gone through these trends and tips that law firms can take advantage of in their marketing strategy, what are the next steps that you can take to actually get them to work for you? So remember that your marketing mix doesn't have to be formulaic and it doesn't have to incorporate every single channel. No one size fits all. But as long as the planned activity gives you visibility within your defined target segment and it can be linked to new leads and revenue, it's important to do what comes naturally to you and what your team and you naturally enjoy. So for example, if you don't like being on camera, you don't have to pursue a video strategy. It's also important to set goals that line up with your business strategy and then choose marketing tactics that best support those goals. So as you identify these elements, you can start to build out your plan. And as you're starting to build out that plan, just keep it front of mind that the point is not to just set it and forget it. So think about regular intervals that you will evaluate that marketing plan to see what's actually working to build traction and grow. So that leads us into our final point. So once you've started to figure out that marketing plan you want to pursue, it's critical to think about how you'll measure that success. So a good overall way to think about marketing is that you can't manage what you don't measure. So over the past few years, some law firms have struggled to keep up with the needs of their current clients without giving much thought to finding new ones, while others have adapted quickly and found new ways to find and retain those who are looking for legal service. So a key to that success is in actually measuring the return of the marketing investments that your firm is making. So here are a few ways that you can start to measure those efforts. First of all, ask and record during client intake how clients have heard about you. So obviously this is an old school method, but it's very valuable to keep track and to see whether the new tactics that you're using are helping you gain traction. Secondly, measure traffic to your website through Google Analytics. This is another free tool from Google, and through Google Analytics, you can see if you're getting more traffic over time, and you can also learn how most of that traffic is finding you, whether that's through web search, advertising, email, or social media. These insights can help you see which of your efforts are actually resulting in more traffic and eventually in more leads. And then finally, legal practice management software can help you manage and track virtually anything, and that includes marketing campaigns and any related activities. You can use legal practice management software to create budgets, set timeframes, gauge results. And just for example, ActionStep has very robust reporting tools, and that's where you can create dashboards, run custom reports, measure your firm's performance, and identify any profit centers and areas of concern. So over time, this analysis will help you determine which tactics are most effective, and they'll even give you insight into any future marketing trends that you might want to take advantage of and add to your marketing strategy. So lastly, if you have any questions that have come to mind, please go ahead and send them our way through the chat, or you can also email them to marketing@actionstep.com. Thank you again so much for your time today, and happy marketing.